In this short demo video here, we are going through the different steps of pulling documents from OpenText Documentum, applying a few changes on the fly before pushing them to Nuxeo. Let's say we have an existing document management system in which contents are attached to specific metadata, creating the perfect example of what a business document nowadays is. From one hand, these metadata can be storage-specific metadata, additional customer-oriented details, or security-related bindings. On the other hand, the contents can either be the main contents, like a PDF page or attachment, as they would be in an email, or side contents, known in Documentum as being what we call renditions. And for this, we need the right tool. Not necessarily a Rube Goldberg machine, just something powerful enough to cover edge cases easily, yet simple enough to be used by anyone who's in, for making this world a better place, his world a better place, his work a better place. As a wise man once said, the best tool is the one that solves problems. Aiming in that direction, among probably a plethora of other tools, is Fast2. In a nutshell, Fast2 is basically a visual or graphical to-do list of all the steps your documents will need to kind of walk through for them to be as usable as they were originally in the deprecated system, if not more. Now, if we get our hands dirty with the technicalities, we have Documentum on one side, Nuxeo on the other as our new choice for storing our documents' assets, and Fast2 in between. The first step of this transfer will be to identify the documents we want to consider. Even if we intend to migrate the whole Documentum repository, migration strategic specialists would recommend tackling this work by batches of documents. To mimic this approach, we will focus on the 10 first-to-come documents at Documentum's discretion. The connection details are embedded into this shared reference, which basically encloses all the login, password, endpoint, and the doc-based details, as Documentum calls it. Once identified, we have to pull the metadata and content of these documents. Not interested in the folders here, since we will overwrite them to improve the former filing strategy by overwriting it into Nuxeo, in order to take the most advantage of the new storage system. We will not consider the versions nor the renditions either, but if at some point you would like to, here are the options to enable. Let's just try to see this in action and see what we've got. So, we have all the metadata, which seems to all have this nomenclature with underscores. So we will have to update this naming system for Nuxeo, especially the name, which here seems to be known as object_name. Another interesting thing is the content that has been successfully extracted from Documentum. As for the metadata now, as we know, documents don't talk the same language in the Documentum realm as they'll have to in the Nuxeos. This little translation effort will be addressed once and for all during the current process. By the way, the tech jargon for this kind of step is metadata mapping. And for us, it will just be attaching new data to your documents with the expected name of the data in Nuxeo and this pattern-like syntax that will dynamically fetch the current value of the metadata mentioned inside the curly braces. Let's see what happens here. By checking the item structure again, we now have only one change applied at this step by the tool, which is the mapping of the name data. The penultimate task is to update the folders, and then our documents will be ready to be stored within Nuxeo. There are a couple ways to do this, but the most versatile one is the module where you can write small code snippets in JavaScript. And yes, it's also the most nerdy one. But bear with me, because that is kind of the front door of another dimension of Fast2, in case you are willing to build your own custom modules. Totally different topic, but that's the road to power. The fact remains that, either with custom modules or with this task here, we can directly interact with the item structure by using the Fast2 data model APIs. I'll be quick here because it's not the main scene of the play. We first grab our migration item, aka punnet, and for all of the documents it is composed of, these could be all the versions of one same document. For example, we just isolate this document and attach a new folder reference. This will be the destination folder in Nuxeo. Now, all that is left is entrusting these documents to Nuxeo. Similarly to Documentum, we tell Fast2 to reach Nuxeo via the REST API by providing endpoint, login, password. We could even be more precise, but there is no need for now, so we'll just go with it. The final dance is on schedule. Let's run the whole to-do list. So the 10 documents are being read by Fast2, the content is copied, leaving the source system intact without interfering with the quality of the input system. In Nuxeo, all of your documents are now accessible inside the expected inbound folder and with the same names they originally had in Documentum. To bring this type of operations even further, we could envision storing the IDs of the documents created into Nuxeo into a CSV, validating their content integrity with hash values. Store the documents into dynamic folders based on given criteria like they file format, creation dates, or else. And use conditional routing to have the items following specific branches of the to-do list depending on their inherent value. Let's wrap up here. Leave a comment if you wish to see other ways of delegating some of your to-do lists to Fast2. And if by any chance you are willing to team up with Fast2 for your next project, you'll definitely be safe to say that you chose it, probably not because it had a lot of features, but because it had the right ones. Take care.